most exciting thing probably was when I got the job at Island Records, and I was sitting in the equivalent of a kind of squat that I'd been living in, and it was kind of like a dream come true. And I always remember I was sort of sharing this place with all these other students, painters and artists and that, but it was really run down. And my whole dream had been about working in the music industry, and that's why I geared my whole portfolio towards that. And I managed to get an interview, and I always remember sitting with like a long telephone cable in the bathroom on the edge of the bath, while there was all kinds of racket and music going on, and hearing that I got the job. And it was kind of like, that was a sort of wow moment, you know. But I guess that's one of them anyway. There's been so many great moments when you work in the arts, sort of filming in the Caribbean and making music videos. And, I mean, there's been times when I've been in tears at the end of the production because I knew it was all over, you know. You know, there was another time when I just finished making a video for Aswad, Don't Turn Around. And I remember coming out of the edit suite in London, and my car had been smashed in, and someone had stolen the radio and that. And one of the guys in the band said, when something bad happens, something good's going to happen straight after. So just look out. And that record went to #1, and that was the first kind of #1 record that I'd worked on. And I was thought there's something in that possibly. My father was a designer, and he had a kind of advertising sort of background, so he had a studio at home, and I used to do a lot of artwork to help him out, and it was really mainly to earn kind of pocket money in that. And but I didn't realise that I was actually getting quite skilled in creating artwork, you know, because back in the day you used to have to draw a lot of stuff up by hand, and it was so I kind of learned my craft through that, and inevitably ended up at art school. And I remember I wanted to specialise in music, and they told me, forget it, you'll never get a job in that. But my whole degree show was based around record covers. I decided to take music I knew and loved, albums I loved, and then repackaged them into my, you know, came up with my own designs. Next thing, I ended up having an interview at Island Records, and I got the job there, and I set up an in-house art department. And to me, that's when it all really kicked off, because Island was like a sort of it's a great record label, you know, great artists, highly creative, and I was given the freedom to do pretty much, over the years, the freedom to do pretty much what I felt was right for each particular artist. So there was no kind of budgets or such, you know. I was just told to work with U2 or the B-52s or, you know, Grace Jones, Bob Marley, and so I used to just come up with it. I'd be listening to the music and coming up with ideas and meeting the artists, and slowly but surely I built an in-house art department, and that was a first, because nobody had actually done that before. All the work in all the record labels used to be farmed out, but we actually set up our own in-house design group, which was great, because it meant I felt it was really good to have a consistency throughout a campaign. So I'd design a record cover, we'll do a photo shoot, and then that would end up being the cover, the poster, the advertising, and very often we'd make a video as well. So it would all be part of a kind of campaign, which in other labels used to kind of get different people to do each different thing, and the campaigns weren't as strong. So I think that kind of helped. So I worked at Island for 10 years, which was kind of major kind of starting point, and got to work with fantastic people. Sounded a bit Trump-like there, but I got to work with some great artists, you know, photographers, sculptors, fashion people, just the whole range of different creatives. And I did that as I said, for 10 years. And then after that, I went freelance. Set up mainline productions with a lady called Tracy Josephs, who's now Film 4. I think she's doing really well. And we got into doing, we were kind of making music commercials for Telstar Records, and at the time they didn't use pop promos, so we had to shoot original ideas, and got on really well with these guys, and they were kind of giving us a job every week. We'd be filming something for them, and that went on for a couple of years. I mean, I always loved music, you know. I was like any kid at the time, but I was really into it. So music played a huge part. But packaging music and working with the artists, I mean, I always used to see it as kind of like one foot in the art and one foot in the marketing. My favourite thing at the time was kind of creating posters, actually. It was the record covers, but the posters were great because they used to go up on the bill posting all around the streets of London, well, throughout the whole UK, really. And everybody saw it, so the thing was to come up with an image that would stand out. But in terms of setting up the art department, at the time you needed to actually produce physical artwork for everything. So I'd have a team of, I had a couple of really great PAs who could organise anything, right, very good. And then I had couple of designers, about 3 or 4 paste-up artists, runners, you know, there's a whole lot. It was a kind of like a core team that kept changing. The team kept changing, so there was a flow of really talented people came through the art department, and I was always quite into kind of giving people chances and opportunities. So we constantly get students in, and they'd start out. We just kind of like give them kind of some jobs. Yeah, I used to play guitar and I studied piano, but the guitar's in the attic actually. So I'm going to get out. I'm going to take it up again. But I was really into that. Yeah. I was very influenced by people like James Taylor and Leonard Cohen and those kind of artists. So I used to kind of copy them and learn that. I think it was always a great way of wowing the girls, actually. These things sort of "Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight." One of the things I did back in the day, which I always enjoyed doing, was creating T-shirts, and that was we did really well with T-shirts, and sometimes we sold more T-shirts than we did records. And I thought, with this whole kind of process of sublimation printing that's come about, it means you can print kind of highly photographic images on T-shirts and incredible quality, and it's a dye process, so you can wash them 100 times and they won't fade. So I kind of really got into that, and I thought the idea of actually producing art-based T-shirts could be very exciting. So, and using my skills to find, because I've worked with photographers and people throughout the whole kind of creative spectrum. So I've created a whole range of different T-shirts, and I'm sort of launching this T-shirt business called a Wear Zone, Wear.Zone, and it's the plan is to kind of launch it this summer. But I've had so many orders that I've been so busy making T-shirts that I haven't actually had a chance to launch the company yet, which I guess is a good thing. But I've been working with a photographer called Adrian Boot, who was very well known back in the day for photographing artists like The Clash and Bob Marley and U2 and Grace Jones, and we've been kind of creating ranges of some of his images, which have done very well. And I've expanded it. I'm working with artists, a painter called Sharon Pinsker, who does beautiful kind of watercolour work. I've got another photographer, Mike McAvoy, who we're just developing a range with now, and really interesting imagery. So, and there's a lot of my designs in there too, a lot of graphics that I did. You know, this one I'm wearing now is actually by a guy called Paul Waring, which was actually done for. It was actually originally for a record cover, and it's quite nice because recently, I mean, this is an old image that we produced, but recently. somebody found on the way, they posted me a picture of Keith Richards wearing this t-shirt. So this one was actually worn by lots of celebrities. So I thought I'd wear it today. So it was celebrities at the time, like Boy George would be seen wearing it, and like he got photographed in it a lot back in the day. And this is sort of artists back through the 80s. It was on television an awful lot. They used to have some music DJ kind of characters that used to kind of pop up every Friday. They'd always be wearing one of our shirts, and I remember this was like one of the hip sort of shirts to wear. And shops, quite a few shops took it. You could buy it at Boy, Harvey Nichols, all sorts of shops. I mean, we just kept getting orders for them. You know, but there's a lot more. You know, I mean, there's some really interesting ideas and designs, because I kind of felt with t-shirts, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of companies, thousands of companies producing them, but I just thought it was a great outlet for me, in a sense, to create art-based t-shirts. I've worked with so many different artists, so, I mean, they're all, it's like saying who's the most interesting, really, in a sense, you know, but I suppose working with U2 was pretty good. I'm currently working with a guy called, the band's called Steelheart, rock musician, and he's just mind-blowingly good. We're just putting his campaign together at the moment. I don't know. I've worked with so many, to be honest, it's kind of hard to pick one out. Well, one of the film projects I wrote a movie about this experience I had with a girlfriend who was a singer in a band. And it kind of inspired me that I discovered that she had a major drug habit. But I fell head over heels, because I was kind of creating all her imagery, and I was really like blown away. And she was like the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen, and I got swept up into this whole kind of underworld that she was living in, and I went on this mission to try and get her off drugs, which basically took me into some pretty dark places. And as a kind of, I guess, middle-class white guy, suddenly sort of in the kind of ghettos of, you know, drug dens, and pulling her out and carrying her home, and in and out of rehabs, and it was like living a kind of Hollywood movie, in a sense, you know. So that was pretty wild. Doesn't get much wilder than that, really. But I did it all for love.